So Muang Thong Thani is largely unexplored on YouTube, which is great for me because I can show you the area in great detail and you can make up your own minds whether you want to visit or you want to come and move here. Now, if it wasn't for the 1997 Tom Yum Goong financial crisis, this area would have been the Golden City, the Bangkok of the future, as it was advertised. And it was based on the satellite towns that were being built around Hong Kong in the 50s and the 60s. But Muang Thong Thani was designed with a lot more space and quality of life in mind. And now 30 years later, it's going back to the future. And I think you're going to like it. So before we do some serious exploring, let's give you a heads up on our location. Some of you might be wondering where the hell we are. So we're about 5 kilometres from Don Muang International Airport. We're about 3 kilometres from Bangkok Immigration Office over on Cheng Watana Road. Now, in the 35 years or so since this area was originally developed, Bangkok has expanded so much that now in 2026, this wouldn't be a satellite town as originally planned. It would be just another Bangkok suburb, which isn't actually in Bangkok. Well, if you are thinking of moving to Muang Thong Thani, I wouldn't advise doing it on a day like today because it's far too hot to be carrying furniture up and down the stairs. But if you did move here at any other time, I would say your life would definitely take on a much slower pace than living in the big city. This area is pretty much self-contained, everything is within easy reach. And I think this kind of a lifestyle is more suited to families with kids or young professional couples who drive a car, older people in the autumn of their lives looking for a bit of peace and quiet, rather than young single people. So you're unlikely to get an influx of foreign YouTubers, influencers or digital nomads making crappy short videos about how great life is around here, because we are a bit far away from the glitz and the glamour of Bangkok. There's plenty of green space around here, lots of lakes, lots of waterways, lots of fitness orientated activities, plenty of options for eating, drinking, shopping and entertainment. As for getting around, I see a lot of people cycling, walking and jogging. You could get yourself a bicycle or a moped, or you could use Grab or Bolt and get yourself a taxi, or they could build a tram network around here sometime in the future. Well, this was originally called the Impact Muang Thong Thani Sports Complex, and it was built in 1998 in time for the Asian Games, which Thailand were hosting. And this then opened up a huge opportunity for much needed revenue by hosting concerts, exhibitions and shows, one of which became very lucrative, the Bangkok Motor Expo, the first of which was held here in 1999. Well, nowadays you can host pretty much anything here at Impact, and everyone at some point has been to the Impact Arena to see a concert. I first came here in 2002 to see the Pet Shop Boys, and it took me about 2.5 hours to get here in a taxi. And I remember thinking at the time, who the hell builds a concert arena out in the middle of nowhere? But these days you can get here relatively quickly. It's about 30 minutes by car via the expressway, or you can get the train. The MRT Pink Line comes here and it'll probably take you about an hour and 20 minutes. So what is the Bangkok of the future? What is the Golden City? What is going back to the future? You may be wondering this. I'll explain about the Golden City. That is Muang Thong Thani translated into English. And I think this is a good time to explain the history. So Muang Thong Thani is a privately run sub-district in Nonthaburi, which is owned by Bangkok Land. This is a company run by brothers Peter and Paul Kanchanapart, whose grandfather Mongkon Kanchanapart had founded the company back in 1973. He'd bought the first plots of land along Chengwatana Road 5 years earlier when this was all countryside. Those plots were sold and houses were built on what is now known as Old Muang Thong Thani. In the late 1980s, when the economy was booming, Bangkok Land launched the Muang Thong Thani project, envisioned as the Bangkok of the future. The company, now run by Anand Kanchanapart, the son of Mongkon, had plans to develop the land into a privately owned satellite city for 100,000 residents. So this was meant to be an area where people could live, work, rest, play, go shopping, eat out, be entertained, enjoy green space, all in the same neighbourhood. But after the mid-1990s, things took a turn for the worst. So by 1997, the Thai property bubble had burst due to a housing boom that had been built on speculation rather than actual demand. Buyers couldn't afford to keep up repayments, and Bangkok land's valuation dropped from $5.2 billion in 1992 to just $36 million by 1997. It was hailed as one of the greatest planning disasters of the 20th century. So part of the plan was for Muang Thong Thani to appeal to Chinese investors and businesses that were looking to relocate after Hong Kong was handed back to China in 1997. But due to this financial crisis, things didn't work out. Many of the condos were abandoned and not finished until years later. There are several ghost towers along Bond Street that still will never be completed. A reminder of a time when speculation overruled reality. So after the crash, the Kanchanapart family were able to retain control of the company and entered into a debt restructuring plan which lasted until 2011. Despite the company being in financial trouble, they still managed to complete the construction of the Impact Muang Thong Thani sports complex in time to host the 1998 Asian Games. I've been standing here in the shade waiting for the sun to ease up a little bit. It's a really hot day today and the camera doesn't like the heat. It will shut off. You do get a warning, it's just that it's really annoying. Anyway, I've been watching that flashing billboard on the side of Impact Challenger and I saw what I thought was The Cure live in Bangkok. But when I looked a bit closer, it was Jackson Wang live in Bangkok. But I'm sure you'll agree that does have a bit of a Robert Smith look to it. Unfortunately not. Anyway, we're on Popular Road and this is the other main road in the area and it goes all the way from Bond Street right back round to Bond Street, but we're going to explore the section from here as far as the Popular Condominium complex. So this area is called Popular Condominium, and it's not just one or two blocks. As you can see, it's 26 altogether. Each one has 16 stories, and according to the website, there's over 1,000 units around here. And it's easy to see why it is so popular, because the rents are very reasonable, 4,000 to 5,000 baht a month if you want to live around here. There is a nice community feel, lots of sports facilities, lots of shops, lots of places to eat. It reminds me of a housing estate in London or Manchester in the 1980s, minus the vandalism, minus the street crime. So after Popular Condominium, the road goes round the back of Impact, past the Immigration Bureau, a place some of you might be familiar with. Then it goes past the Cyber Police headquarters, another place some of you might be familiar with. Then past the Thunderdome Stadium, home of Muang Thong United, across the intersection by the MRT station, past the Impact Speed Park before finishing up at Bond Street. And now we have one more section of Popular Road to show you. So the final section of Popular Road we're going to explore is actually the beginning of it, because it starts up here at Bond Street and goes down towards Impact, and we started at Impact earlier on. So this section is about 300 meters long, and according to Google Street View I can see a temple, a university, a shopping mall, and some interesting looking architecture. Well, just off Popular Road is a very beautiful temple. This is Wat Prasut Manichar, and it was named after the two individuals who donated the land to have it built in 1977. And it sits more or less right in the middle of Muang Thong Thani, offering peace, quiet, tranquility, gentle reflection, meditation if you like. I haven't seen any cats around here just yet, but then again, I only got here about 5 minutes ago. So we're going to explore Bond Street now. This was the area that was supposed to become the metropolis, the city centre of Muang Thong Thani. But to get there, we've got to cross this lake here. And I don't have a boat, I don't have my budgie smugglers or my swimming trunks or my speedos, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to have to take the long way round, and that is via Chengwatana Pakret Soi 39. But you never know, there could be one or two interesting things along the way. So just up here on the right hand side is the double lake condo, and if you live here at the moment, I'm pretty sure you get a good view across the lake over to Bond Street. But this piece of land on the opposite side of the road has been earmarked for a lakeside shopping mall. It is the perfect spot for it, obviously. And when that gets built, it will drive property prices up around here, as it will become a bit of a retail hub with shops and restaurants opening as well along the street. Well, just from walking along Bond Street here, it's pretty obvious that once upon a time, 30 odd years ago, when all this was brand new, there was potential for this street to become the commercial, the residential, the retail hub of the area, the city centre of Muang Thong Thani. But sadly, that wasn't to be, and nowadays it more resembles a functioning ghost town. One thing you notice pretty quickly is that the traffic noise is amplified on Bond Street due to the concrete and the towers keeping the sound in and echoing it all around. And if you're living in one of the towers on the lakeside, you're probably going to be okay. I was also reading a website that said all the towers combined, apart from the ghost towers of course, at the moment are less than a third occupied. Then on the other side of the road, you've got these lower rise buildings. I would say they're about 15% occupied at the moment. And these were earmarked for smaller businesses, of course. And apparently at each of the top of the buildings, there is a penthouse apartment. So there were big dreams for Muang Thong Thani in the late 80s, early 90s that were never realised. And it remains to be seen whether Bangkok land will invest the billions it would take to regenerate Bond Street. Time will tell. I'm going to hang around until it gets dark because I want to see what the area's like once the sun goes down. Access to good public transportation and a direct connection to the expressway are two big advantages of living in Muang Thong Thani. I would estimate that 2/3 of people living here are car owners, so a gateway on and off the expressway right in the middle of the neighbourhood is definitely a big advantage. Last year the area got connected to the rail network with the new MRT Pink Line extension opening in May, and there are two new stations here, one at Impact and one at the lake. A few months ago, the MRT Pink Line was extended into Muang Thong Thani. It's just a short branch line with two stations, and it's also connected physically to the main line. So during peak times, and if there's a show or concert on at Impact, they can run through trains. Now, one thing I like about the monorail trains here is that they don't have any drivers. So if you're a train fan or nerd like me, you can stand at the front and pretend you're driving. So I filmed a driver's eye view of the MRT Pink Line extension. The first thing you notice at Impact Muang Thong Thani station is how small the platform is. But if they've got a concert on and you've got a few thousand people trying to get the train at the same time, then that small platform will become very overcrowded and you will have queues downstairs. But nevertheless, it is a very good connection. So if you wanted to move to Muang Thong Thani, you would have no shortage of options for renting or buying. I would suggest doing 1 or 2 months here on a short-term lease to see if you like it, see if this area is for you, particularly if you're going to commit to buying a place. Now there are several condos around here. There's lots of townhouse developments, barns with big mansions in them. Rents on Muang Thong Thani can vary from as little as 5,000 baht a month up to whatever it is you're willing to pay. So I'm going to show you a few examples of those to a piece of music. So this area was designed to be completely flood-proof. Every project was built 2 to 3 metres above sea level, and in the 2011 flooding this area was devastated except for Muang Thong Thani, which was completely unaffected. So they've got 2 big lakes here that drain off a lot of rainwater. They've also got a storm drain system which is not connected to the sewage system, so that can drain into the lakes, and then the lakes are connected to the canal network via a series of gates, and that eventually goes out into the Chao Phraya River. So that was a good example of forward thinking back in the late 80s, because they were saying back then that Bangkok may well be submerged by at least 2010. I saw on the map there is a canal running down one side of Muang Thong Thani, and I was wondering if it was a canal that I ticked off my list in the past of canals that I visited around Bangkok. It's a big long list I've got, and it was actually, because when I went to Tao Pun a couple of years ago it ran through there. It's called the Klong Prapar, and it's a freshwater canal, and it supplies the water network around Bangkok. So if you fall into here you're going to be okay. Also, it's the boundary line between Bangkok and Nonthaburi, so it goes to show just how close we are to the edge of Bangkok. Well, this is the Impact Speed Park, and I was thinking on a day like today where it's not too hot, it's not raining, and it's a Sunday, I was planning to film lots of go-karts going by, but sadly there's only 2 on the track today. So here they are. Well, for 650 baht, that's not bad. You can jump in a go-kart, do a few laps. I was going to have a go, but we got grey skies incoming, so that might not be a good idea. But there is a place not far from here where I can get some shelter, get a cup of tea, and do some shopping. It's called Cosmo Bazaar. Well, that just about wraps up this video on Muang Thong Thani. It's been a lot of fun hanging around here, exploring over the last few months. It's taken me ages to finally complete this video, and hopefully you might want to move here either now or sometime in the future, and Bangkok Land might even give me some commission. Just kidding, of course. Please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you want to support me and support the channel, you can do so via the Buy Me a Coffee link on the screen. That just leaves me to say what I always say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.